having the best player in the league is not enough anymore in today's modern NBA. We've seen with Nikola Jokić fail to get to the Western Conference Finals after putting up an MVP season and one of the greatest offensive performances over an 82-game sample size the league has ever seen. And we can look at multiple different things that have happened for the Denver Nuggets to pinpoint why they haven't been able to make it back to such heights. And these could be things like the growth of other teams. The Oklahoma City Thunder were not the same team that they were back when the Nuggets won the championship. You can say the same thing about the Minnesota Timberwolves. You can say the same thing about the Los Angeles Clippers. You can also point at some of the salary that was given out during this period as well. The extension of Jamal Murray, giving Aaron Gordon all that money, giving Michael Porter Jr. all that money. It just puts a real strain on what the Denver Nuggets could have done to build around Nikola Jokić. But even with all that around him, Nikola Jokić this season, with probably the worst lineup that has been put around him ever since winning a championship, has averaged 29 points per game, 13 rebounds per game, and 10 assists a night. And there are multiple people across the NBA world that think that he should have won the MVP. And over this offseason, it looks like the Denver Nuggets are back to legitimate title contention, and Nikola Jokić is going to have a hell of a season. So in today's episode of At the Buzzer Sports, we're going to be talking about how good the Denver Nuggets could be with the new additions to their roster and how good Nikola Jokic's resume could look at the end of this tenure with this team. Season, Nikola Jokić averaged 30 points per game, 13 rebounds per game, and 10 assists on a 66% true shooting, and he was shooting 42% from three. And I've been saying this all year. The better you are as a passer is how easier it gets for you as a scorer. Nikola Jokić has been dominant with his back to the basket for multiple seasons now, and he gets more one-on-one opportunities than a lot of people would give him credit for because how dangerous he is as a passer. He has elite touch around the rim, shooting 55+% from the paint non-restricted area and from 8 to 16 feet. When you combine the strength and the touch around the rim and also the shooting and dribbling aspect of the game and the A+ playmaking, it's very hard to guard Nikola Jokić as a scorer, and this is why I have him as a top 3 scorer in the NBA. The efficiency, the touch around the rim, the playmaking, all those things that he provides for the Denver Nuggets offense is why they're one of the best offenses in the entire NBA when he's on the floor. And one of the most underrated things about Nikola Jokić is he averages the most touches per game at almost 105 touches a game, which is 10 plus between him and number 2. This is clearly a testimony to how good he is with the ball in his hand and how efficient he can be. Usually the more shot attempts or the more touches you provide a game, the more turnovers or the less efficient you could be. But that's not the case with Jokić. It feels as though when he has the ball in his hand, he's always creating easy looks for himself and for others. It's when he has his back to the basket around the elbow and the opposing center or the opposing help side rim protector collapses on Jokić, he's making the efficient pass. He's making the right read. And if you don't send help, he's going to score in one-on-one possessions. Nikola Jokić leads the league in post-touch points per game at 5.1 per game, and he's also the most efficient out of everyone in the top 10. He also leads the league in post-touches per game at almost 6 per game with a 1.09 points per possession and is also 75th percentile. All of these stats really point to how good Nikola Jokić is as a scorer, but how much does this really raise the floor of the Denver Nuggets offense? This season, the Denver Nuggets were 20 points better when Nikola Jokić was on the floor, which is so crazy to me because when you look at the lineups that they were playing without Jokić on the floor, it looks like they have some offensive personnel to where they do not execute that bad when he's off the floor. If we take a look at some of the most played lineups without Nikola Jokić, this one consists of Russell Westbrook, Jamal Murray, Christian Brown, Michael Porter Jr., and DeAndre Jordan. They're averaging 100 possessions and 107 points per 100 possessions, which is 17th percentile, and 94.3 points per play, which is also 25th percentile. And like I said earlier in this video, there's a lot of things that you can pinpoint about this Nuggets roster to really explain why they did not get back to the NBA Finals or why they haven't even been to the Western Conference Finals. And I don't want to harp too much on why they haven't been back to the Western Conference Finals because 2 years in a row, they were one game away from going to the Western Conference Finals. And that could be a testament to Nikola Jokic and the floor raising that he provides, because we can definitely say in the 24-25 season that they did not have the roster well equipped enough to go on a championship run. And I think a lot of this started by losing Bruce Brown in free agency. Obviously, we know that the general manager of the Denver Nuggets at the time was trying to prioritize the youth movement in Denver. And you can say that worked out with Christian Brown. I think Christian Brown made a really significant improvement this season as the starting two guard for the Denver Nuggets. And you can say that he was better than KCP at that point of his time in 23-24 than Christian Brown is in 24-25. But I still don't think it has completely worked out for Peyton Watson, and one of the reasons is just the offensive side. He is a complete non-factor as a shooter. He could be a very good cutter, and a lot of people look better with Nikola Jokic on the offensive side, but defensively, Peyton Watson is great. He's a really good point of attack defender. He's also really good as a help side rim protector. He can be a really good defender for the Denver Nuggets when he's on the floor. But a lot of this could also be pointed at the contracts that the Denver Nuggets are giving out as well. Jamal Murray is going to be making north of $46 million for the next 4 seasons. At the time Michael Porter Jr. was still on his contract, he was making $38 million this season and $40 million the following year. So you can say at the time that the contracts for this Denver Nuggets team really put them in a chokehold, and how versatile and how open they can be with moving pieces around for the roster. But that's where things changed. The Denver Nuggets sent out Michael Porter Jr. for Cam Johnson. Now, I know a lot of people would say that this isn't really a difference in play style and shooting and how they play next to Jokic, but the difference is the salary. Cameron Johnson will be making $21 million next season, and Michael Porter Jr. will be making $38. This gave the Denver Nuggets so much more cap flexibility in what they could do with their roster and how they could improve for Nikola Jokic. And with those improvements, they were able to sign guys like Tim Hardaway Jr., Jonas Valanciunas, and Bruce Brown. And this was something that we talked about a lot last season. The Denver Nuggets did not have the depth to go on a really deep playoff run like a lot of people would have imagined. So now you have the best player in the league and one of the best starting fives in the NBA, if not the best starting five in the NBA, with a backup center, a rookie that's coming back this year in Deron Holmes, who did not play at all last year. You have Bruce Brown coming back, who looked really good with Jokic, and Tim Hardaway Jr., who played well in Detroit. I think there's so much versatility within this roster. I think Peyton Watson can be moved to the 4 now that you have Bruce Brown and Tim Hardaway Jr. I think Jamal Murray is going to be a lot better with those second units, having more offensive skilled players coming off the bench, guys like Jonas and Tim Hardaway Jr. I think Cam Johnson is going to do the same job that Michael Porter Jr. did. And last but not least, the thing I want to talk about with Nikola Jokic is, with this new team, how high are the heights? How high is his ceiling? I think every year you can pencil Nikola Jokic in to be a top 5 MVP candidate. Do I think he's going to be top 3 this season? I think there's a really good chance. I think there's a really good chance he can win MVP this season as, one, an apology for not winning MVP this season. We've seen that happen, especially in 2024. I feel like Nikola Jokic had an even bigger chance, especially since he was snubbed from winning MVP in 2023 to Joel Embiid and then went on to win the championship. And I think there's a really big chance that could happen this year, especially if the Thunder aren't as good, which that probably won't happen, but there's a world. And let's say the Denver Nuggets go off and win another championship and Nikola Jokic wins another Finals MVP and MVP. What are we talking about with Nikola Jokic? I think him being a top 3 greatest offensive player of all time, being one of the greatest centers the league has ever seen and one of the greatest offensive players the league has ever seen, is truly alarming, and it truly means something. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys like this type of content, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think the Denver Nuggets ceiling is next year with all of these offseason moves. They definitely shored up their bench unit. Their starting lineup stayed the same or just as good as it was last season. And Nikola Jokic is the best player in the league. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at @thebuzzersports_. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at ATBSports1. Make sure you guys follow me on TikTok at @thebuzzerENT. And make sure you guys join my playback room, where tonight, we will be streaming Kobe Bryant's greatest games. The link will be down in the description below. And with all that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.